Welcome back to the Highlight Spiel. I'm Fletch.
I'm James.
Last week I went 5-2. My overall is 38-18. Last week he went 6-1. His overall is 31-25. I got a 7-game lead on him now. Now we're gonna talk about the Week 10 review. Upset of the week. Who you have as your upset?
I went with Virginia. They were finally ranked, starting to look decent as a team, and then they just lose the Pitt, and it kind of just takes everything off.
Yeah, I have Virginia winning too, but I think I had them on my upset alert because Pitt almost upset Notre Dame this earlier in the year, and I said if they could play a whole game like they did that first half against Notre Dame, they would pull the upset off, and they did.
And now here's Darren Hall getting his first carry, and it's a good one. Inside the 20, goodbye, touchdown, Darren Hall. And Pitt with a hole up the middle for Darren Hall. And he is off to the races. Darren Hall. He's got the hat trick, his third touchdown tonight. This one for 75 yards.
Narduzzia's, and that's exactly what he wants to get Pitt back to being.
Pitt's 5-4, 4-1 in the ACC. Virginia falls to 4-2 in the league, 6-3 overall.
My upset of the week, I went with, it's not really upset, but I went with LSU. It's not, like I said, it's not an upset, but it upset me.
I'm upset
that they didn't even score. Come on, it was a night game at Baton Rouge. They was ranked number 3. They had, probably the biggest game of their year, and they didn't even score. All the whack teams that Alabama's played has put points on them.
Couldn't even get a field goal.
Yeah, the number 3 team couldn't even score. You gotta be kidding me.
Couldn't even get 3.
That's what upset me. So that was my upset of the week.
I'm upset.
Now we're gonna talk about the players of the week. Who you have as your players of the week?
My players of the week at number 3, I have N'Keal Harry, wide receiver from Arizona. He had 9 receptions for 161 yards and 3 touchdowns. My number 2, I have Kyler Murray, the QB from Oklahoma. He went 20 for 35, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he also had 11 carries for 100 yards and a touchdown. And then at number 1, I have Nick Fitzgerald. He's the QB from Mississippi State. He went 17 for 28, 243 yards, 4 touchdowns, and then he also had 18 carries for 107 yards. What about you?
My 3 players of the week, number 3, I had Quinnen Williams, defensive line. He played on defensive line for Alabama. He had 10 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, and 2.5 sacks. Number 2, I had Sam Ehlinger from Texas, the quarterback, 25 of 36, 354 yards, 3 touchdowns, also 52 yards rushing and another touchdown.
Yep.
Number 1, I had Will Greer, 28 of 42, 346 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also had a game-winning touchdown pass to Gary Jennings with 16 seconds left, and also hit the 2-point conversion and won him the game. Ironically, ran to the same pylon that he got hurt last year against Texas, and won him the game. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Team of the week, who you have?
I had Alabama. I was expecting LSU to at least try to make it a game. You were at that time a playoff team, and you got completely shut out. Didn't even look good at all. So Alabama, because I thought they were going to have trouble playing against a ranked team, and they completely just shut them out and proved me wrong.
Mm-hmm. I went with Clemson. They didn't play nobody. They played Louisville, but they put up 77 points.
Yeah.
And regardless if you put up, whoever you are, if you put up 70 points in a game, you're going to be my team of the week every week. So Clemson's my team of the week.
Next up on the segment is our games of the week. Friday, November 9th at 10:15 under the lights, we have number 23 Fresno State at Boise State. I went with Fresno State in this game. I don't really know too much about either team. I know Boise used to be good,
Yeah.
but they're not no more. And Fresno State looks like they're trying to be good, but we'll see. I chose Fresno State, though.
I went with Boise State. They're at home, and as far as I remember, Boise State's always been hard to beat on that blue turf, so I went with Boise State.
Next up, Saturday, November 10th at 12, we have number 10 Ohio State at Michigan State. I went with Ohio State in this game. Bias pick, regardless on who we play, Ohio State. But I also do think we have the better team.
Yeah, I went with Ohio State too. Even though they struggled against Nebraska, I think they'll get back on the roll and get things together against Michigan State, Ohio State.
Next up, at 3:30, we have number 16 Mississippi State at number 1 Alabama. I'm hoping this will be a game, but I'm pretty sure Alabama's going to win. I went with Alabama. They proved that no matter who they play, they're ready for it, and that's what good coaching and great recruiting does.
Yeah, I went with Alabama too. I think they have too much firepower, and Mississippi State only seems like they know how to run one play, and that's the quarterback power. Yeah. And I feel like Alabama will be ready for that. And Nick Fitzgerald ain't gonna beat you passing, so yeah, Alabama. Then at 3:30, we got Oklahoma State. It's probably the biggest game of the week, regardless if they're not ranked. Oklahoma State at number 6, Oklahoma. Who you have?
I went with Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma's been, ever since that game they lost, they've just been back on tempo. They ain't really missing a step at all. They're showing that they're one of the best teams in college football. So I went with Oklahoma.
Yeah, I went with Oklahoma as well. I think Kyler Murray will be the difference maker. Yeah. And yeah, Oklahoma. And then at 7, we got Auburn traveling to take on number 5 Georgia. Who you have?
I went with Georgia. I don't think Auburn is going to be able to keep up with Georgia, especially offensively. So I went with Georgia in that game.
Yeah, I went with Georgia as well. Auburn looked good earlier in the year, but every year, the deeper into the season they get, they always struggle. So I went with Georgia. Then at 7:30, we got number 19 Texas traveling to take on Texas Tech. Who'd you pick?
Texas. Going with the Longhorns. I feel like they're going to bounce back and finally get another win. I mean, they almost beat West Virginia. They were in the position to go into overtime, and Dan Holgerson said, we're going for it. So and that happens, and they lost that game, and you know they're ready to get back and win.
He said, my nuts is bigger than yours, is what he said.
Yes, he did.
I went with Texas also. I mean, they're on the road, but they've lost 2 straight. I don't think they'll lose 3 straight. Then at 8 o'clock, game days at this one, we got number 2 Clemson traveling to take on number 17 Boston College. Who you got?
I got Clemson, even though I expect this to be a better game than what other people expect.
I got Clemson also, even though it's on the road. I feel like Clemson's defensive line will cause too much havoc for Boston College.
A lot of havoc.
Now let's talk about our upset alert. Which team do you have on upset alert this week?
I was so confident when I said Ohio State was going to win this game. But we have been struggling a lot. So I put Ohio State on upset alert because we're barely getting by teams that ain't ranked, and teams that are ranked has always been a problem. And I just don't – Michigan State was right there on the rank line. So I just think we're going to have a hard time. We'll see, though. I still think we're going to win. But if we lose, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, Ohio State really struggled with Nebraska last week. That surprised the hell out of me. I figured they would dog the hell out of them, but they didn't. My upset alert, I had Oklahoma win and say Kyler Murray will be the difference maker, but Oklahoma was on upset alert for one reason. It's their biggest rival, probably their biggest game of the year against their biggest rival. So anything can happen in a rivalry game. So Oklahoma's on my upset alert. Now we're going to talk about our X Factor of the week. Who you have?
My X Factor is Boston College. I want to see if Boston College, they're ranked. It's an ACC matchup. I want to see if they can use that home field to their advantage and get it gritty and see if they can try to hold Clemson to under 40 points. Right. It's been hard lately. And just see if they can come out and get the win. So, Boston.
I went with Dwayne Haskins. He was sloppy last week. You know, they struggled against Nebraska. If they want to avoid the upset bug this week at Michigan State, he's going to have to be better. Now let's talk about our Heisman watch.
Let 'em know. Do the Heisman. Let 'em know. Let 'em know. Do the Heisman. Do the Heisman.
Who's your top 3 you got in the Heisman?
Okay, at number 3, I got Dwayne Haskins, QB for our state, even though I feel like
still showing bias because he dropped 6th in the
Yeah,
ESPN.
but he's 1 to 2 big games away. Like, we got Michigan coming up soon, so if he can just ball out against them, take them out the playoff things, he's right back in it, just like Will Greer is in certain people's.
Yeah.
Number 2, I got the Kyler Murray, the QB from Oklahoma. I feel like he's just been doing a phenomenal job there. He's filled the shoes really good and done what he needed to do, and he's proven that that team has a chance at the end.
Yep.
And then number 1, Tua Tagovailoa, QB from Alabama. You seen what happened when they put his backs to the wall. He still threw for almost 300. He still got 2 touchdowns. He still ran for 50 yards and got a touchdown. So he's showing that he's big time and he's going to stay there.
Yeah, I like them picks. Ours are probably pretty much the same. The only one different, I have Will Greer at 3.
And he deserves to be there.
I ain't had him in my probably past 2 races because he fell off, but that big game against Texas pushed him back up. If he continues to play like this, he might stay in my top 3 the rest of the year, but it's hard to tell. Number 2, then I got Kyler Murray, like he said. He's filled Baker's role. It's like they ain't missed a step. And number 1, I got Tua Tagovailoa. LSU only did one thing good against him, and that was cost his first interception of the year. But other than that, he still looked dominant.
And it's kind of sad because they did slow Tua down to an extent. Like, he didn't, throw for no 350.
Yeah, his completion percentage.
Like, he had to play the whole game.
Nah, he only played – he played the 4th quarter, but I think he only played, 1 drive.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think he only had, 1 pass in the whole 4th quarter. Don't swear me to it, but I think so.
But.
And then now we're going to talk about our playoff prediction.
Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? 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 Playoffs?
Who you have as your top 4 teams?
Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Michigan as of right now.
That's exactly who I have. Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Michigan. I will say Notre Dame has a game this week. Ian Book isn't playing. He's hurt his ribs. So they're going back to their original starter. That could Notre Dame up. Their chemistry, because when he was playing, they looked sloppy. They didn't look good. So hopefully this Ian Book getting hurt doesn't hurt him too bad.
Yeah, Notre Dame's on the hot seat now. Without your starting QB, I mean, a team could strategize against you. They could play different formations they usually couldn't play against you because your starting QB could eat that up. Now it opens the game up. And Michigan, too, they got a lot to feel. Jim Harbaugh's finally in the playoff spot. Let's see if he can keep it.
Yeah. If they'd have to win the Big Ten, in my eyes, for that to happen.
They will. They have to win the Big Ten.
If they get to the Big Ten, if they even lose to Ohio State, they're not going to get in. Ohio State will get in. So, But, all right, that's the highlights, Bill. I'm Fletch.
I'm James.
Brought to you by 304 Productions. Like I said, y'all need to go listen to Cruz's little podcast, Country Roads webcast. He got a basketball segment on there now because it's college basketball season. Almost having athletics. You need to go read them articles that they've been putting out. Pretty good articles. We'll see y'all next week. Thank you.